Welcome to a special agenda. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you all who took the time out to talk with me with a special agenda about something that I find really important. And those who know me know my story, and that we have a neurodivergent family. We have two children that are on the spectrum, and it's something that we talk about a bit because it's a large part of our life. And this conversation today is something that we need to open up to people who don't just have children that are on the spectrum, but need to be parented differently because they're children and because they may have other issues, ADHD, which is close connection to that, um, other diagnosis where they maybe have behavioral issues. We live in a world in which it's really important that you're close to your kids. It's always been something that's been important, but because we have been led to believe that um, having children who behave differently, you need to parent harder, which in truth is absolutely the opposite. People who have a hard time every day don't need the help of being receiving extra mistreatment. They don't need to have other individuals tell them everything that's wrong and then come home and receive the same thing. It's important that when you know what's going on with your child, you take the time to treat them accordingly. Sometimes they may be having behavioral issues, but it's important to get to why. One thing that children don't often receive is the gift of being heard. As a parent, you are their first line and last line of defense. Um, One thing about our Heavenly Father is He always corrects us, but the way in which He does it is in love. The Bible never tells you of God being harsh. He always directs in love. And even when we do need redirection, because as humans and the individuals that are imperfect, we will need and do need redirection. But He does not kick us when we're down. He does not take extra time out to humiliate us or hurt us or publicly shame us. It's important that your entire family feels guided with love. No matter what the dynamic of your family is, whether you are a single parent or a two-person household or shared custody, or no matter what your circumstances are, it needs to be something done in which you all, even the adults, communicate with each other in love, because there are going to be points where it's not necessarily guidance, but a form of communication and where you direct each other. How you treat one person, sometimes, even if the person is behaving badly and we're not sure what is happening, and it's not a child, this is an adult, and this is someone you're parenting with or co parenting with, it's important that you be kind and clear in your communications. Sometimes it's important to let people know how you feel so that they have an understanding of what's motivating your behavior. As long as you all take the time to communicate with each other, no matter what other people think or what it looks like from the outside, being kind to someone, even who's having a difficult time and not being kind to you, will always pay off in dividends of growth and being able to connect with each other so that you all accomplish the goal that you need to. That's not always easy, but necessary. It has to be done in a way in which you see each other and remembering that your children are watching you. Telling someone off is not a skill set. Even if you feel like that they don't see what you're doing, or they're not being understanding, or that they don't see the vision that you see of what's going to happen. It's important to try to take in the other person's side and ask them in a way that is not with the intent of hurting each other. Because given the fact that there are other people that you are guiding, i.e. your children, it means that they are watching how you interact, and you're teaching them how to move and live in the world, how to handle things even when other people aren't being kind and fair. And they will have a lot of that to deal with, particularly if they're children who have mental health issues or developmental issues. Teaching them the way in which we're supposed to interact with each other helps them learn to de-escalate situations on their own when you're not around, because there will be moments when you're not around, when you're not present, and they have to learn that. It will help them to learn not how to mask their feelings, but how to manage. Teaching your family how to give each other grace, how to respect each other's feelings, how to respect the other things that are happening around them that they can't always control, makes a huge difference. It may be the difference in them having a bad interaction with authority, or their ability to manage a situation that the other individual isn't even aware that they're dealing with. Taking the time to consider them as humans and as individuals, as imperfect beings, makes such a difference in your relationship with them. It teaches them to trust you. It teaches them to know how much they mean to you. Believe it or not, and that matters in all aspects of each relationship within your family, not just with your children, but the others that you share their parenting gift with. Though we may grow at different rates within our communication and understanding and maturity, because the things that each person has experienced outside of their relationship within their own childhood in their life outside of being with you determines who they become. So it's important to consider those things and to talk those things out. And when you give each other that grace, it makes a huge difference. Even if you don't see it right then, you may see it later. There's not one plant that you water that you see immediate growth. As you continue to water that plant and give it the proper nutrients, because each plant needs something different, just like people, over time you will see growth. Some plants need extra nutrients because they've been damaged and left near death. And it takes a while for them to get to where they need to be. And it's similar when dealing with individuals. sometimes because of what they've experienced, they need different things. And though you may not have maintained a relationship with them that may be romantic or things of that sort, because you share the responsibility of caring for this child, if you're the one that's more mature and you are the one that is capable, and you both decide together to work on what you know you need to make sure that you help your children and who you're raising to become who they need to be, you take the time out to decide that you are going to give each other what you need as kindly as you can so that you help these children and don't do harm. It makes a difference. And considering that they need that help from you take that time to let them know that they, no matter what happens, can talk to you. But if necessary, sometimes it means disconnecting from the person that may be unhealthy and unwilling to receive them at what needs to be done to help that child. It's important that we take that time to consider that. Because some people may have other issues that they're working on. But under no circumstances should we make that individual look bad before that child. That's not their burden. It's our job to guide them and direct them as lovingly as we can and to give that person grace by letting them know they're working on some things and they'll be back when they can. That's the best that you can do. But that doesn't mean you don't guide them. And having children that have mental health issues and other things are going to pop up as a result of the things that they may have experienced due to all the things that have happened. You make the guided decision that you're going to show them the love that they need, but let them know that correction does not necessarily mean corporal punishment. But in some cases, it may have to. But that doesn't mean that you don't consider this child and treat them with the kindness that you know they deserve, the help you know that they deserve. And you don't allow strangers or other individuals to direct your decision on disciplining your children without considering who your children are. And also understanding that all decisions need to be taken in consideration prayerfully and with love. And the bigger decision and the bigger thing that we have to normalize is that understanding what your child's needs are may be different from what your family members consider your child's needs to be. That does not mean that you have to discipline your children the way culturally it's been done. You do what you know is necessary. You do what you know is needed. And you do so in a way that your child understands that correction does not necessarily mean punishment. The purpose of correction is to show the love, great direction, assistance, so they can grow. You do not need to harm your children physically to get your point across. Now, we all do what we feel is best. But don't let your cultural background determine what you do daily when you see that it's not working. That's not love. That is deciding to hold on to culturally things that we know are damaging our children. And we also have to decide that getting your children outside help is not a reflection of your personal flaws. We cannot decide that they don't deserve help so that we can protect what we think others think about us or worry about keeping our business in our house. That doesn't mean you're not guiding your children if you get help or guiding your household or giving grace and understanding to your mate. Understanding that we all have flaws and taking the time to be forgiving to each other. Forgiveness is not a flaw. Understanding each other is not a flaw. Understanding that we're all human is not a flaw. Take the time to show each other how much you mean to each other by communicating with each other every day. And trying to one up each other and holding on to what you know about that person, weaponizing what your children have done, weaponizing what your mate has done is not love. Do it as our Heavenly Father encouraged us to do, with forgiveness and love. Have a great night. Take the time to do that daily. Water each other with love so you can watch your family grow. Y'all have a great night. Thank you so much for taking the time to join the room with a special agenda. Good night. Hmm. No, I didn't do it.